Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and start. Someone said they might join a bit late. Okay, well, I'll try and make it very fast. But the message that I was writing about and everything and went through and studied was like being still. Especially when three of us, we've gone through nursing school. There's no such thing as just like being still. And even with Lindsay, she's got their kids running around. Being still can be very, very difficult. Um, and especially when you have all of these things that not only are going on outside of you, but inside of you too. When it comes to anxiety, stressing, just everything's coming at you and you're trying to internalize it and try and deal with it one at a time. But like that becomes very, very impossible at times. So, and the reason why I want to talk about that is just because that's just in the past couple of years, actually, it's just been like one thing after another in my life, trying to figure out what's happening. And in the past, I guess, the past couple of months, I've just become very just tired and weary of everything that's just been thrown at me. Like I've been exhausted. But yet I can't rest. I don't know how to sit still and just actually rest. Even people at work, they can see the exhaustion on my face. They're like, why are you not like taking the time on your days off to actually just sit? And it's like, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea how to do that. Um, but I'm in general like a very, very busy person. Not busy in the sense of like I have like all these plans, because I really don't. It's more of like things like busy in the sense of like I make my to-do list longer than they need to be. Like I just add stuff, you know. I'm a very type A person. Like even if I complete something that's not on a to-do list, I'm gonna add it just so I can check it, type thing. And I can't even like sit still when I like watch TV shows. Like I'm either on my phone watching TikTok, or I'm sitting there like writing something, like just doing nonsense things that I really don't have to do. Like I can just sit there and watch TV, but in my head, like I can't. Um, I I used to be able to sit still. I used to, not for long, but I knew how to, and I knew how to be comfortable in that. Um, However, I've learned that when I start to face, or I'm in the midst of different troubles or battles going on, whether it's in my life or just like inside, like just trying to figure everything out, that sense of peace, like becoming still, it becomes an impossibility. Um, in fact, I get more anxious like when I sit still. I don't know why, but it's very unsettling to me. I am more relaxed when I'm at least doing something, because I feel like I'm accomplishing something. It's like I'm up constantly, like trying to do something to either distract myself or make sure I'm not caught off guard by whatever is going to come at me next. Um, I use my busyness to kind of keep me on my toes with my hands up, like ready to swing back at whatever is happening, especially in the past, I guess, 6, 7 months. That's how I've been, just ready for whatever is happening next. I can't sit still no matter what. Um, in fact, the definition of being still, or be still, means to stop stirring, stop fighting, and to relax. It also means to put your hands down. The Bible says be still 7 times, and that doesn't seem like a lot. You know how like it says like don't be afraid, or and all these other things like 365 times, and be still is like 7. Um, However, I think be still is actually more important than don't be afraid, because it's very important that you sit down and you are still. But those 7 times, that's a verse for every single day of the week. So there's actually 2 verses that I do want to go over, or one's a passage, but the first one is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. And by the way, I do use King James Version, so I'm sorry about that. If you need to, look up another version. But this verse is like a direct command from God to stop our futile efforts in dealing with things that are in his domain. He asks us to literally put down our weapons of war and stand in awe of him and his mighty power. So it's kind of that correlation between being still and saying, put your hands down. And then God saying, put your weapons down. And that's kind of what we use as our weapons, is our hands. So it's like, just stay still. Like, it's like one of those things when you're trying to deal with like a toddler and they're running around and you're trying to like get them dressed for whatever's going to happen for the day. Even like grown kids, they're running around and you're like, you need to get ready. And they're just fighting you. And it's like, can you just sit still for 5 seconds? Like, I don't know if y'all have ever nannied or anything like that and had to do that with a child, but like, they run around everywhere and it makes me anxious watching them. I'm like, what's happening right now? But the second, like I said, is a passage. It's Mark 4:35 through 41. And the same day when the even was come, he saith unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him, even as he was in the ship, and there was also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? And part of the context of this is like, basically, Jesus and his friends, it was Jesus' idea, but they decide to go across the Sea of Galilee. And Jesus gets on this boat, and like anyone would do, he takes a nap. Okay. And his friends believe that they are just taking a normal average day boat ride. How many times have we made a decision on something and we're like, this is an average decision, and then it turns into a complete chaos of a mess? But what happens while they're on that boat? They end up in the middle of an I think I am about to die type of storm. Okay. How many times do we probably say that in a day? I think I'm going to die. We just say it so casually. But there are moments where we really think like, this is going to be the end of me type thing. So let's go back to who is on the boat. Jesus and the people who left everything to follow Jesus. And the only reason they are on the boat is because Jesus said, let's take a ride across the sea in the boat. It was his idea, and he said it with such ease that why would they even expect troubles? He says, let us pass over onto the other side. Like, if someone asked me that, I'd be like, sure, that seems really calming, okay? But it wasn't calming at all, okay? So, after they leave everything to follow Jesus, they find themselves in this I think I'm going to die storm. So there's 4 truths to this storm that I want to bring. And I know that we're talking about peace, and here I am talking about an absolute storm. But what comes after a storm? The rain ceases, and there's usually a rainbow. Everything's kind of calm. Everything's settled, right? So we need to talk about the storm first before we can get to the peace. So the first thing is, do not expect smooth waters on an unpredictable sea, even with Jesus on board. This storm was not uncommon. It happened a lot because the sea was actually in a valley, so there's a lot of winds. So it should have been expected. However, it completely caught them off guard. How? I don't know. But you never want to expect smooth waters on an unpredictable sea when following Jesus. Life sure isn't predictable, so don't expect it to go smoothly. In ancient times, chaos actually usually took place at sea. And what usually emerged from the sea? Some type of beast or monster. So a life lived in this world is a life lived at sea. That's why Jesus never promises you your best life now. He never says that. And I know that we're always like, oh, we're living our best lives. No, you're not. Trust me, you're not. But good try. But Jesus promises us that there will be storms in this life, even in John 16:33. Many people, me included, long to be in control of our lives. And when we're not in control, it becomes very unsettling and worrisome, and we don't know what to do. So storms should actually increase our faith because Jesus Christ is committed to being in the boat of your life. He's committed to going through that storm with you. Okay, The second, a lack of response does not equal a lack of care. Because even the disciples on the ship, they were like, do you not care about what's going on? You're just watching the back of your eyelids right now, just taking a snooze. This was written 2,000 years ago, but still we can relate to this, because how many times do we say, God, where are you? Why is this happening? Why aren't you helping me? If you are questioning if God cares about you, then stop and change your perspective. Okay, stop focusing on what he didn't do or isn't doing and focus on what he has done for you and will do. Because even if Jesus Christ doesn't give you another thing, he has already given you too much. You don't deserve anything that you've already been given. So if Jesus has done something, will do something, who's to say he isn't doing something right now? The third thing, Jesus takes storms that seem pointless and he makes them productive. They create three different things. Storms cultivate intimacy. God is constantly saying, for you are with me. That's first person. That makes it very, very personal. You get to experience Jesus in a whole new way in a storm. 2, using storms to free people from their fear. And how I kind of relate to that is like, I have a constant fear of just like losing the people around me. I also have a big fear of losing my memory, but that does not relate to this. That's just an irrational fear. But losing people around me, because I feel like, I don't know, it just feels like people are constantly going in and out of my life. People that I really want to stay and they end up not staying, or people that are having to move away. And it's been this back and forth deal. And I had that fear before all of the storm and all of the chaos came. And next thing I know, I was having to be placed in a position where I'm facing that fear. And I'm having to realize like people are going to come in and out of my life. It's the time that they're with me. How am I going to use it? Type thing. So these storms, they provide a reflection period too. Peter, right before being killed, was sleeping, and he remembered this boat experience with God. And he said, if God's with me, who could be against me? That was his reflection. He gave it to God and he went back to sleep. So 3, he is bringing beauty from the brokenness, even in the storms. And I know that seems just absolutely nonsense, especially when you're experiencing a storm. It's very hard for you to like receive different advice from the Bible. Are Christians coming to you and being like giving you all of these like cliche responses? They're not cliche, they're true. But are we really going to accept them when we're in the midst of like feeling like we're going crazy because we're dealing with so many things on our plate? So the 4th and final thing is my most important point. With Jesus, the great calm of the sea can become the great calm of the soul. So in verse 39, he says, peace be still. He just commands the chaos going on, like just peace be still. So 1, we can't calm a storm at all. I think sometimes we wish we could. But there is no way that we could ever do what Jesus just did. He literally just created this great calm over everyone and everything. Not only did the storm stop, but so did his disciples. They were in awe of everything that took place in front of them. Jesus is literally telling them, his own friends, peace, which was and can be used as an order to remain silent, and be still, which means to relax. So he's basically saying, shut up and relax to his own disciples. So now, is he speaking to the storm in front of them? Yes. But do you think he was also talking to the fear, the anxiety, the chaos, the restlessness, the helplessness that they all felt in their hearts, minds, and souls going on in this very moment? Jesus was sleeping like a baby. You've got to be pretty dang calm and relaxed to sleep like that. Like, it has to be perfect conditions for me to sleep like that, just very, very easily. So when he commanded the sea, it's what he was feeling on the inside too. He was calm. So my question is, will you let him? He may not stop the storm around you, but he can do something about the storm inside you. So what is the storm inside you? What is it saying? Is the storm anger, bitterness, loneliness, isolation, guilt, anxiety, not knowing what's ahead, all the stresses of what's going to happen after college, the stresses of going on to a shift. Because let me tell you, the amount of anxiety I experienced walking into those doors of that hospital is like no other. The stresses of trying to deal with just normal everyday things. Am I going to be able to get everything on my to-do list done? What are the storms saying? Is it saying you're not prepared? You're not good enough? You won't make it? You can't do this? You are unloved? You are unworthy? You will mess it all up. These are all lies, by the way. And there's some of the lies that I've been even trying to face and fighting every day for a while. But Jesus has the power to calm all of that if you let him. And what I have discovered being still means for me is just, it means not using my Jesus time as, well, I've got nothing else to do. Let me take this and do this. Because on my way to work and on my way back from work, I listen to sermons, and I fully support that. I think that's a great idea. But that's not setting aside time for God at all. That's just using time that I already have. And knowing that, and I have been trying to like actually genuinely set aside time. I don't care how long that to-do list is. If it's 5-10 minutes, I'm giving that to him. So, do y'all know what the definition of the word carve or carve out means? Like actually, because I actually thought this was really cool. Because everyone always tells you need to carve out time for God, right? So, it actually means to take something from a larger whole, especially with effort or difficulty. So with effort and difficulty, it's going to be hard. And I know you each have a mile-long list of things to do, but the time you carve out with God is what will help you get through all the to-dos with more elegance, patience, strength, and grace. And don't use it as something just to check off. Like, genuinely be still with God who created you. And this is like just a series of questions that I found just to ask you, like going through the storm. Like, is the enemy of life called the storms of life chasing after you with rage? Are they causing you to wonder what's taking Jesus so long to rescue you? Are you in need of hearing peace be still to the storms in your lifeboat on today? Does the world around you seem to be crashing down? Does Jesus appear to be taking too long to come to your stormy sea? And the peace of God is like, it's like this fresh ocean breeze that is waiting for you to just inhale and exhale. And it took me a very long time to realize that. And when I finally like did realize it and experienced it, I have felt so much better. Like all of that pressure that I felt was crashing down, that I felt like I had to carry, I really didn't. I was just making it a lot harder on myself. Jesus has the help that you need. He is the only one that can speak to our storms and can command them to be still. And Jesus is the same God today as he was those thousands of years ago with the disciples on the Sea of Galilee. And the disciples called upon Jesus for help because they were unable to bring about the calming peace they needed in their lives. Because they tried to calm themselves down. They tried to figure out how to get out of the storm, and they didn't. And when they couldn't, they went directly to Jesus. Storms are tests. Storms can happen suddenly. Storms can cause you to doubt God. Storms teach you about God. Storms teach you about yourself. And storms will stretch your faith like no other. And fourth semester, Ashlyn, it seems very easy. Okay, but there are going to be parts of it that you struggle, and it's going to seem like you don't know what to do, but you'll figure it out. And lucky for you, you have really good teachers that are going to pour into you, and you'll need that. And it's not just in this last semester. That's something that all of us need to get through each and every day. We need people that are going to pour into us, and we need to pour into other people. So when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person that walked in. That's what the storm is all about. You're not supposed to go back to who you were, because that's why the storm came in. You will see Jesus differently, and you will see yourself differently. And there are some things you can only learn in a storm, so learn them. Not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear a path. Some storms help you to see some things more clearly. And Jesus started this passage with, let us pass over to the other side. Let us pass over to the other side. Maybe Jesus is saying this season is over or almost over, You have some great, amazing blessings coming, but you are not ready. So let's shed this coat. Let's shed this season. And I'm going to send some things your way that will help you to grow in the areas I need you to, so you can fully receive the blessings to come. So he's preparing you. He's trying to help you grow, and he's trying to make you into a different person with these storms. And I think that's very important for all of us to learn and to know, because I think sometimes we act like a toddler when storms happen. We throw a tantrum and we ask, why me? And we should be saying thank you, because we need to change. There are some things in our lives that need to change when a storm comes. So it's important that we learn those lessons. And that is all I have. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Anything y'all want to add or say? Lindsay, Nicole, since y'all are the ones, no camera back there. Hey, what's up, Lindsay?
Nothing. That was really good. And I think it's something that I know I needed. And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. There's some whistling going on. I don't know what y'all be doing.
Okay.
Right.
Well, there, Lindsay left. Yeah, I think it's something that I know I definitely needed, and I think it's good for her to hear it too. So, good job, Nicole. Proud of you.
It was not me, but thank you.
What?
I said it was not me, but thank you.
I can't hear you.
Okay, well, never mind. I don't know why you can't hear me. She probably still has her headphones in or something.
Okay, what?
Nothing. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right, well, I do appreciate y'all attending, and I know it was a small group, even though we had like 30 something in the group me, but also I think everyone is just like all over the place busy. This is a very busy season for I think everyone in the group. They're all like young adults / about to graduate type people, and so no one ever season is
don't let that get you down though. Like, still keep doing this, because
I literally actually before this I said, you know what, God, if there's only going to be 1 or 2 people, I have to accept that and be okay with that, and just be grateful that those people showed up, and I am grateful. I appreciate your presence, because I know that there's a million different things that y'all could have been doing tonight. Maybe not you, Nicole, but I'm just kidding. But